Hello everyone and welcome to Abundantly Minimal. My name is Sarah and today I'm back with a decluttering video. These are 10 easy things that you can get rid of right now. These might be things that are lingering in your house you don't even realize you have too many of, and I think that you'll find most of these things are relatively painless to get rid of, and maybe you have been holding on to some of these. So let's get started. First up, extra shoes. Now, if you are a big shoe lover, this could be a little bit challenging, but I'm guessing you have a few extra shoes that maybe you haven't even worn in the last year. I know when I went through things, I had a few, and it's tough because certain shoes go with certain outfits and all of that, but it is kind of amazing how quickly we can accumulate different shoes. And the tough truth is that even if we love certain pairs of shoes, the occasions for us to wear these are kind of rare. So I'd encourage you to go through and even just use maybe the 1 year mark as a metric. Which shoes have you not worn in the last year? But if they're not serving you anymore, they're not really worth that space in your closet. Next up, reusable bags. These can often accumulate because you might get some for free, or maybe there's a cute design at the store that you're buying, but really, how many reusable bags do you actually need? I am a big fan of reusable bags and love using them, but they can build up, and certain sizes just aren't as helpful. If you are buying groceries, maybe you keep some of the biggest ones. Maybe there are certain ones that are more sturdy. Maybe you like the message better that the bag says on it. Go through and decide how many bags is actually necessary. For us, I use them a lot, but I feel like we don't need more than 6 or 8, and we could probably even reduce more of that. We definitely had too many to start at one point. It was a little bit ridiculous how many reusable bags we had. So that is definitely a tip as well. Next up, books and magazines. If you have books or magazines that you don't plan on reading again, there's no point in holding on to them. Decide what you no longer need and send that out. You can send your books, donate them to a library or even a school if they're appropriate for students. And it can just feel so good to get them out of your house. Check to see if certain books can be sold online. I've found a lot of success selling books used on Amazon, especially if you've got college books still, and don't think you're going to be looking through some of those, especially if it was a long time ago. Free yourself from the unwanted extra books or magazines that you no longer need. Next up, if you have old technology and electronics, extra computers, extra phones from a couple previous models, this old technology I think we hold on to because we don't really know what to do with it and we're just kind of like waiting for that time. Imagine how good you'll feel when you get that out of your house, out of your space. It's going to vary based on your location, but if you do a quick Google search for technology recycling centers near your area, hopefully you'll find some information. Some larger chains also will take back different electronic devices. So feel free to look into that when you're focusing on getting rid of these electronics. Next up, office supplies. If you feel like you're hoarding different office supplies and not really using them very often, I encourage you to pass these on as well. Schools or offices could be a great place for these different items if you don't feel like you're going through them fast enough. It's amazing how quickly pens and other supplies accumulate, especially since these are often used as promotional products. And the truth is, I do so much digitally that I'm not even using pens that often here when I'm at home. Next up, t-shirts. If you've got a drawer or closet full of t-shirts that you don't actually wear, maybe it'd be a great spot to look into. If there are certain shirts that maybe you had at a certain period of life and it no longer is serving you, get it out. If you feel sentimental about the organization the shirt was from or a particular event, you could always take a picture before donating it so you still can maintain the memory that way if you'd like. Next up, makeup. It depends how much makeup you wear, but I have found personally, I don't wear much makeup, but I'm always amazed by how quickly it expires, or also, you're not supposed to use it anymore. For example, technically like mascara, they say no more than 3 months, just because some of these liquid products, like bacteria, can accumulate, and that grosses me out a little bit. I'm not the best at doing this, but making sure, like if you've had the same of different beauty products for years, especially if it's liquid, it's probably best to move on. Likewise, if you've got something that was like the wrong color or you're not really a huge fan of it, I mean, you could try to return it if it's a more recent purchase, or beauty related stores do that. I don't really know too much about all of that since I don't do too much on the makeup front, but if you're not going to wear it, then I don't think it needs to clutter up your space. Those could be some easy things to declutter. Next up, kitchen gadgets. I talked a little bit about this in my minimalist kitchen tour, but it can be really helpful. Say if you've got a sharp knife or a chef's knife, that can basically serve the same purpose as several other kitchen gadgets. And sometimes it's just easier to just have one thing and not have too many choices or things to clean when you're trying to make something. So that could be an option if there's any of those unnecessary kitchen gadgets that you haven't used, or maybe you don't even remember what they're used for. Movies. I've talked about this one a little bit before. I no longer buy movies, but if you've got movies at home that are no longer serving you, donate them, get rid of them. You could really save a lot of space if you're to get rid of these movies, and if you're no longer watching them, I don't think there's a huge need to still hold on to them. If you do wish to still hold on to your movie, check, because some recent movies do include a digital copy. We're big movie rental fans, so we'll enjoy renting movies and watching those together, or even using the library, and then you return it and you don't have to worry about that in your house anymore. So that's definitely our recommendations. Finally, my last tip here, if you've got anything from an unfinished project, maybe it's a craft related project or a home improvement project, any of those unfinished projects, really ask yourself if you're going to finish it. What has been getting in your way thus far? Why have you been putting off the project? You may have different reasons for that, and obviously it depends on the person and the idea, but if it's been an unfinished project for a while, then maybe you don't actually need it. Maybe you're not going to finish the project, and then you can move these supplies out of the house elsewhere, and that could then help relieve some of that stress, so you have time to focus on the projects that you do want to finish or that you're more motivated to finish. So those were my 10 tips for things that you can declutter right now. Hopefully this video was helpful. I'd love to hear from you in the comments if there are any of these things that I've mentioned that you are going to go declutter now. If you enjoy minimalist content or are trying to declutter your life, I'd love to have you here as a subscriber and as part of our community. I post videos Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays about minimalism and other related topics. Also, if you're interested in decluttering, you can check out the link below for a free declutter challenge guide, as well as a 8-step transformation to start your minimalist journey if you're new into this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.